Everybody, welcome. Don't you dare.
Welcome to the shit show, fellas. Or guys and girls, or whatever you identify as. Potatoes.
What episode are we now?
What happens? What?
What episode are we now?
I'm looking at the show notes here. It'll tell me.
There's show notes?
Scroll to the top.
Yes, we do this occasionally.
Gunning around episode 30. Oh, my Lord.
Big 3-0.
Big 3-0.
We haven't been canceled yet.
Not yet. Maybe we're doing it wrong.
It's all because of lack of funding at this point, I think.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Gunning Around episode 3-0. Where losing measurable amounts of cognition and basic andrological function are simply considered rites of passage. That's what I'm saying. I'm damn near 50 years old.
Wow. I think I understand the 3 words of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a lot of big listeners like Francois and Jens are going to have trouble with that.
What is an andrological function anyway?
Well, it's physiological stuff pertaining exclusively to men.
Oh, does that mean like when I piss my pants?
Well, if you providing you have loss of bladder control, yes.
Okay.
If you piss your pants willingly or just,
sometimes when you're cold, you just got to warm up somehow.
Well, there's that. I don't think you can blame that on andropause or any other andrological function.
Hey, back to guns.
Good to know.
Right. All right. Gunning Around is proudly sponsored by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. EM Precision is one of Canada's premier precision and long-range rifle builders, established in 2014. From lightweight hunting rifles and precision starter packages to extreme long-range boomers, EM Precision has the expertise to get you up and running with confidence.
Okay, boomer.
Hey, whoa. Okay, that's one for you, too. You only have 2 more, you realize.
But that's just today.
That's just today. You can find EM Precision Rifles on Facebook, Instagram, and of course their website at emprifles.ca. Now, the other matter that I want to address, say again, Sean?
APB alert.
APB is right. All Points Bulletin. Where in the world is Ontario Tim? Ontario Tim was here faithfully for the first while. He even sent us 3D printed items. He sent us what was that whiskey that he sent? I can't remember what the heck it was, but he sent us a bottle barrels. For God's sake.
12 barrels.
12 barrel whiskey. That's it.
It was good shit too.
And you know what? In all our fame and fortune, and our heads are just spinning with how wild this podcast has gone. We're not relating to the little people as much as we used to anymore. If anybody can believe that.
Well,
kind of forgot about Tim for a little bit.
I'm trying to think back the last time we actually heard anything from Ontario Tim.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was like right before COVID.
Ooh.
So I'm actually worried about Ontario Tim.
I kind of am too. So anyway, we're offering a reward for the location of Ontario Tim Whalen. Let us know if anybody knows him.
Home address, mailing address and his social security number is.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys.
I hope the reward is beer.
Well, it's yet undetermined, but a reward to be sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It may be as simple as a reach around. We'll see.
Whoa, from select members of this podcast only.
I'll have to drive out to Regina then. Fuck.
So you're volunteering then, is what you're saying.
I'm surprised you hit the road already.
Hey,
that's the reward, right?
Who screened this guest?
Good deal.
Oh, shit.
Well, speaking of guests, we have an important yet handsome guest tonight. Speaking of reach around.
Live like it's going to be successful for me.
Live from the booming metropolis of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Dave Fallman from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. What's up, bud?
Not too much. Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
Johnny?
I guess we got a special acknowledgement this week in light of all the gun ban bullshit that's going on. We're calling on all firearms enthusiasts to register with any and all lobby organizations and encourage others to do the same. Get out and talk to people and educate them on the facts. Sponsor someone who would like to join but can't afford it. Each of us has already sponsored people who believe in our cause. You can do the same to help us all out. Also, send us your videos of you or others explaining why you feel this ban is a poor directive.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. So we have a very important guest coming on next week that would love to hear from you guys too. We're not going to name drop yet. But yeah, he's definitely going to want to hear from you guys. And if you can't watch it live, which I highly recommend you do.
Yes.
If you don't, send us info@gunningaround.com. Send us your questions, and we will ask him on air or them on air. So,
see, now how can we ask people to send us questions to ask them on air?
about the gun ban.
Tell them about the gun ban. Okay.
Well, should we just do it now?
Well, it's up to you. But is
I
it
don't
a
do why
deal,
not.
or is it kind of still up in the air, or what?
It's set. I'm just waiting to hear from the people. So for those of you listening, you're getting the inside track. We have Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Time, still yet to be confirmed. Aaron O'Toole, Conservative Party hopeful leader, and Regina Wascana MP Warren Steinley coming on the show. Special show, midweek show to deal to answer our questions and figure out, how are we gonna fight back, right?
Yeah.
So send us your questions for Mr. O'Toole, Mr. Steinley. Keep in mind it's confirmed, but I still have to hear from his people to get a definite yes. So it's not confirmed, but it is confirmed.
Well, we've reached out and had an answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Francois says you guys get Mo to come on. Well, maybe.
I think he's a bigger deal right now than Aaron.
Yeah.
And try
at least here.
too. Right?
Yeah.
Say again, Sean.
He's trying to reopen the province right now too. And get
Yeah,
the
that's it.
so he's got bigger shit to worry about than our measly fucking podcast. But
Yeah.
Why?
Anyway.
I thought Saskatchewan's only like, 100, 150 people,
total.
Hey,
He can come on. He can make time for you guys.
you pipe down. That's two.
Hey, I'm drinking Pilsner. Isn't that +1?
No.
Saskatchewan champagne.
It
as
will.
well.
Yeah, that's right. It will be considered. All right. Who are we, Sean?
I am Sean. I am CCFR provincial coordinator, hopeful Saskatchewan director again. Nomination just went through this morning,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yep.
I'm Ron Burgundy. No, but there's always one of those episode. Anyway, so CCFR provincial coordinator for the provinces, the great province of Saskatchewan. Regina Fish and Game League director, CCFR range safety master learning facilitator, ag equipment service specialist, father, and gunny, I guess.
Nice.
Beauty.
I'm John. I'm a journeyman electrician, CCFR field officer, VP of the Regina Fish and Game League, Project Maple Seed IIT, firearms business owner, M14 Medic Firearms, sports shooter, hunter and certifiable rifle looney. Yeah, that's that.
That's all? Are you sure?
I don't know. There's probably some more I could throw in there, but yeah, no, we're good.
All right, everybody. I'm Rooster. I'm a CCFR field officer. I'm in construction management. I'm a hand loader, a wildcat enthusiast. I prefer the long range and precision rifle discipline. And I hunt when Murphy allows me to.
I got that reference.
God damn
Did ya?
Yeah.
Murphy. Murphy's always around, it seems.
He's got a weird laws too.
Luke. Luke coming from, where is Luke again? Sorry.
New Brunswick,
Is it New Brunswick? Yeah.
Moncton, I believe.
It's flat and not one curve in the road, and they still bitch about their roads.
Yeah,
Come
try
take a
driving.
drive through Saskatchewan, motherfucker.
Yeah, you know it's flat when they put curves in the road every so often to keep you awake.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe those are called correction lines, and that's because the road crews didn't do the proper job.
Correction lines and signs in the middle of the road saying pothole here.
Cool. So you can find us at facebook.com/gunning around. That's our main go-to social media. We're also on Instagram, gunning around. That's me. I run that. I guess I should give you guys access to that, but
Yeah.
So go to Facebook, podcast, Apple Podcasts, etc. Leave a review. Let us know how you're doing. Also, if you guys like the content, please leave a like on the page and share so we can spread the wealth. We've been actually pretty active on Facebook, so the likes are slowly growing up. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, check us out on there. Also, email the show, info@gunningaround.com with any questions. And this is big. Questions, discussion points, or future topic ideas. Because we're booking a lot of guests moving forward here. But, we can always change that up. And if you guys want to hear something, hear about a topic or whatever, let us know.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, we'll definitely listen to you guys. I think we're the only gun podcast in Canada that really engages with the listeners like we do. So we want to keep that up. So
Absolutely.
you can also check us out on the web. We have a website, gunningaround.com. We have some improvements coming, so check it out. It's mainly super secret squirrel stuff right now, but keep an eye on the page. Check it out. We got some stuff coming. So
just like the government, we can't reveal it because it actually doesn't exist right now, but it's an idea in our head, and we're going to make it work someday in the future.
So here, CFR Field Officer out of Lloyd, Mike Heineck. Get Rick from CRPS on the show. He's only been on.
I guess we can have him again. I'm sure Rick would mind.
Thanks for coming out, Rick or Mike, whoever you are. I don't know.
Good guy. So check us out on there. Give us a like, all that shit. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
So are we gonna do what we did this week, or what we did in guns this week, or what we did this week?
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
You, because I think you're the only guy who did something. Or did Kurt?
Yeah, I did something.
Okay, well, I started off the week. I think it was Monday evening. I went out and shot that new CZ LRP of mine and did a bunch of accuracy testing at 50, 75, and 100 yards, and did some velocity tests to see what the stuff that shot well at 100, how fast it was going, so I could figure out which one would be more predictable a little bit further out there. That's going to be my new CRPS rifle. If I ever shoot CRPS, we'll see. COVID has still put the big pause on a couple of different things here now. So, but that was Monday. Tuesday, I worked from the range, which is funny. We had a big delivery of hay bales and stuff like that. So I was able to coordinate with my employer to be able to work from home. And so I just very conveniently neglected to tell him that I was working from the range as opposed to home. And then also this week, I'm working with a web developer to tweak my website a fair bit, the m14medic.ca website. So trying to get some sort of a point of sale thing happening there. Got a lot of parts and stuff that aren't prohibited that I could probably be without, and try to free up some funds to keep the business afloat while we figure out what's happening with the OIC and how that's going to affect
your transition plan.
Yeah, well, my transition plan is to not go bankrupt, and unfortunately, right now, that's not looking very good.
Shit. No kidding.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've done this week in guns. Haven't really been wrenching on M14s much lately, I guess. You know what I mean? There's really no point. A lot of customers opted to have their projects returned without me even opening the box, so that worked out pretty good for them. They had started getting delivery notifications letting me know that stuff I'd shipped out is starting to arrive where it needs to go. So yeah, tons of fun. That's what I've been doing this week. Kurt, what'd you do?
Way to bring down the mood, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, all right. Jesus.
Let's go from here. Yeah, Kurt.
Kurt.
Oh, I got out to do some verification with the 6.5 by 47. I think I got a load worked up that's that's workable at the moment. So a large part of my intent with the 6.5x47 is getting folks like my girlfriend Nancy, my daughter Vicky shooting that rifle, my son Cooper, and some new shooters. It's a heavy rifle. It shoots well off the bench, and it has almost zero recoil. So it's a good rifle for new and young shooters. And I've got finally got something good worked up for it. So just went out and actually, it's a little bit odd. I was using CCI 450 primers with that thing, and it was shooting good. And just for shits and giggles, I tried CCI BR4 match primers. And much to my surprise, especially because of all the most people use 450 primers and small rifle primer cartridges for the precision stuff. You don't hear much about BR4s. I decided to try it anyways, just because there were a few anomalies with some of the stuff that I'd seen through testing, and it shot measurably better. So, and I didn't have as much of a problem. I don't know whether it's this particular batch of 450s that I have. They seem a little bit soft and they flow a fair bit. The BR4s didn't, for whatever reason. Maybe like I said, maybe it's the batch. But the other thing I did was I got EM Precision's newest 6XC that they sent us. I call it Carrie's Blueberry. That's the one back behind me that you can see.
Big Blue Bass.
Yes, sir. That's that Curtis Custom Action, the IBI barrel, and the oh my God, what is that? MPA chassis. And you know what? I think I got something worked out. If I can get it in. Hey, look at that.
So was that one sideways bullet, or?
You shut your mouth, you son of a bitch.
What target are you shooting at there?
Okay, you two. You want three?
So
Huh?
tell the story. Tell the story. So Kurt's texting me pictures like, so
What do I do? What do I do?
and so he sends me a picture of a couple of different groups that he's got there. And I'm like, I'm telling him to use the one that's a little wider. Like that one's nice and tight. The three are touching. That one there's
right.
one a little bit right of the group. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'd be going with that lower note. He goes, well, geez, what about the other one? It's quite a bit tighter. I'm like, well, I think that one's about 1/10 of an inch shorter. So he takes out his calipers and holy shit, I'm 1/10 of the one group is 1/10 of an inch shorter than the other one. So
yeah, good call, Johan.
So you're going to take that out a little bit further now, I guess, and kind of dial it in a little bit at a little further distance. So
I didn't have the luxury of using Jens's lab radar for that testing the other day. I just needed to get the hell out, and again, needed to get out of the house to do something constructive. Had a good day to do it. The forecast for the next couple of days was total shit, so I figured it was now or never. Jens was busy at work, and I even texted him, and he refused to play hooky. so I guess I was on my own, and so went out and shot. So now I'll load up around that load there that you saw with a nice tight group, as well as the lower one, John, that you suggested, and chronograph them and shoot them at 400 to 600. I haven't decided yet. And it'll depend on the day. If it's a hotter day where all that heat is coming up from the ground and bright sunlight and everything, it'll be 400 yards. If it's an overcast day and not quite so hot, I'll go to 600, maybe even 700 yards, just to see what that consistency is like further out there.
For sure.
Yeah. Francois says, "What's Rooster's muzzle velocity on which one?"
Probably the 6.5. I'm thinking.
Luke, did you shoot the Rooster or the Pecker? You fucker. The 6.5x47, I believe, is where is it? It's about 2840 is what I'm getting with the 6.5x47 with a 130 Berger AR.
Yeah, that's pretty
and
respectable, even with a 130.
you're damn right. You know what? With the 139 Lapuas in my 260 Ackley, I was getting 29 or 2860. So I figure I'm not doing too damn bad with the 6.5 by 47 and 130s.
Good job.
Yeah. Oh, Yen says I can do next weekend. All right. Bring your gear.
Sounds good.
All right. Sean,
What about you, Sean? What'd you get up to this week?
I came and supervised the flax bale unloading at the range for a little bit. Then I had to work, and then I was on dad duty too, so there's that. Brought Connor one day for like a few hours. That was fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Busy seeding time, so I'm busy putting out fires, figuratively and non-figuratively.
You had some excitement at your place there this last week too, didn't you?
I do not want to talk about that on air. So, like, I'm not joking. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Luke asked about the 6.5 rooster. If you guys will indulge me for a second.
Of course.
That 6.5 rooster Wildcat that I've been working on. 143 ELDXs with reloader 26. I was getting at 49 and 49 and a half grains. I was getting 2997 and 3014 feet per second with the 143. And John, this will please you. 4831 shortcut with the 143s.
Yeah.
I got a max load at 29.95, which isn't bad at all. But that ladder that I shot it at 0.3 grain increments, and 29.47 and 29.52 at 47.6 and 47.9 grains.
So how are they shooting the 130 OTMs? Are they working out pretty good in that
I haven't even tested them. You know, my initial testing, my initial testing was with 130 RDFs. Just I didn't want to shoot the OTMs right off the bat, so just for that bullet weight, I got and I tested with 4350. I wasn't sure what exactly to start with, so I went to 47 and a half grains, and that's where I got a stiff bolt at 3126 feet per second.
That's what she said.
Yes. So I think the sweet spot will be around that 46 to 46 and a half grains with that bullet weight and that powder. So it's cooking along pretty good, right around $3,000 with both 130s and 140s, 143s.
That's right where you want to be, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Rutan here says, what is the parent case of the 6.5 rooster?
That is a 6.5 284 parent, and it's shortened up. It you know what? It in length, it almost matches the 6.5 Creedmoor. Longer neck, but of course the 284 case is larger diameter. So I can fit 58 grains of water in that case. Whereas a 6.5 Creedmoor, I believe, is it 52 or 53? And 260 is just like a grain above that. 6.5 284 is, what is it, 65 grains?
I think so. 64 and a half or
So,
65, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it's it, like we've said so many times, the 6.5 rooster is essentially a fuck you Creedmoor cartridge.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of the 6.5 man bun, but it's so close to the 6.5 man bun.
Like Jens says, it's
less
a lot of form, and like I put it through the form die and blow it out with cream of wheat, and I ream it, and I neck turn it or outside turn it and fire it again, ream it again, possibly depending on how it cleaned up the first time, and turn the outside again to about 13-14 thou. I'm gonna have to experiment with that as well down the road, but yeah, it's a damn lot of work, but whatever. I can say it's mine. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, done.
Dave,
Dave.
did you get up to anything this week or no?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do this for my full-time job, so just been doing the CUSF stuff. Obviously, the gun ban has made us go into overdrive in terms of looking at that and looking at how that affects our membership and clubs. And yeah, just like as well as just the COVID and the general gun ban stuff has really got the volunteer community super energized, right? So we took on 11 new volunteers within the last 4 weeks. So yeah, I spent like 4 hours today revamping our structure and trying to just get us to the most modern sport shooting organization for post-secondaries. But in terms of actually going and shooting guns, going out tomorrow with my mom for Mother's Day at the Crown Land and just go blast it in the mountains here.
Good job.
Good boy.
Sounds a great idea.
Oh yeah, it was her favorite Mother's Day ever last year when we all went out to Ypres, just kind of like northeast of Banff there, and then it's like beautiful mountain background, and yeah, all blast guns all day. Can't beat that.
Good deal.
No kidding.
Oh, so what do we got next here?
What are we drinking?
Well,
We have an alcohol sponsor this week. Well, next couple of weeks, I think. Yes, sir.
Look at that.
if we play our cards right, we do anyway.
That's right. Well, like I told him, I said, we will drink every damn drop you supply us. And he looked at me in the eye and smiled and said, okay.
You're goddamn right we will.
So what we have this week is the Churchill Brewing Company Sundog Belgian White.
Yep.
Proudly brewed in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Sean,
Yeah,
what's your thoughts?
I fucking love it. I drank a can early yesterday of the Pilsner, and
it's good stuff.
he gave me severe shit for it, John, but it was amazing. And then I'm usually a fan of like Blue Moon, like Belgian white, like white beer, like the citrusy, not fruity beer, but like that sort of deal.
Okay.
This stuff's pretty tasty too. Sundog Belgian White, 5%. Yeah, it's good.
Well, it does say, don't just broaden your horizons, brighten them.
Sundog, yeah.
Now, if that isn't inspirational, I don't know what is.
So what are you thinking, Sean? What do you think about this thing?
Love it. I would buy this in the store. No.
It's pretty damn
See,
good.
if I grabbed my regular brand of beer, which is like
Coors Light.
well, it's fucking boomer beer, right? But and take a sip of that, and versus this, the first thing I think of is my beer gone bad? But it's it's not bad. I don't like. I'm not much on IPAs and stuff like that. So this is kind of uncharted territory for me. About as risque I get is a wheat beer at a brew pub or something.
That's what I said to Mike. Mike was the what does he call himself? The brand ambassador for.
He's the guy who
Churchill.
dropped it off, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Mike, just a tiny bit of history there. I played senior hockey with him out in Delisle, and saw him on Facebook and saw him as this brand ambassador for Churchill Brewery, and the old light bulb came on, and holy shit! Well, I haven't seen this guy in so bloody long, and thought I'd make contact anyway. And oh, by the way, we have a podcast and we drink some.
We actually drink a fair bit, but
so yeah, he put together a little package for us all. He actually delivered to Sean's place in Regina.
Yeah.
And I went to visit him today. And like I said to him, I'm not I don't exactly have the most refined palate. And I'm a boring drunk. I don't venture too far away from the Coors Light or the Budweiser occasionally, or the occasional Pilsner, all that kind of stuff, and whiskey or rum, right? Getting into these craft beers and stuff, it's not really my bag, and it's a bit different. Like this stuff is it tastes a bit odd, but it's certainly not bad.
It grows on you really quickly.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah.
And for a guy who is incredibly boring with his as a beer aficionado, I am not that guy. It is actually really quite good. It like you say, John. I'm halfway through this can, and it's actually pretty damn good. It started out tasting a little bit like soap. But
I almost tasted like a hint of blueberry in it or something, or I'm not sure how to describe it, but like it's going down real smooth.
Yeah.
Like it's a good beer. It really is a good beer. But
it's different for sure, but it's turning out to be good.
Yep.
So good time to do the ad read now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do it right meow.
All right. Churchill Brewing Company is in Saskatoon. Or is a Saskatoon brewery using only the best base malt barley in the world, produced right here in Saskatchewan.
Yeehaw.
Considered by in Bigger, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
Bigger, Saskatchewan.
New York is big, but they're bigger.
That's right. Considered by some as a bridge craft brewer seeking to introduce the non-craft beer world to a beer that is consistent, clean, crisp, and homegrown, yet still retaining the flavors that craft beer lovers can appreciate. Churchill Brewing Company name came about thanks to the two brothers who started it, who had many fond memories of fishing, hunting, and camping on the banks of the Churchill River system. So there you go. There's Churchill Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Mike, for supplying us with this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks.
It's actually I'm actually liking it a lot. So
Luke.
Dave,
so
what are you drinking?
Sean, Shirt, and John are all drinking the same thing, but Dave's on something else.
Yeah, I had to join you Saskatchewan boys, so I went for the Pilsner. I didn't quite make the whole hat that true Rough Riders fan would, but I can pretend to be a real Saskatchewanite here for the evening.
The old Saskatchewan champagne, as Miles would say.
I've got the Pilsner cowboy hat downstairs, like the one made from the beer box.
Me too.
Exactly. How can you live in Saskatchewan without one? It's like a uniform Riders
true.
team, right?
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't run with the herd again, so I don't have one.
Well, yeah. we almost didn't have any feedback this week.
Almost.
Luke, you have to transfer your review to the reviews section or recommends section on the Facebook page. But just because you're Luke, I'm going to read it for you. So Luc Gondin wrote...
Luke with a C. Should be with a C.
Always look forward to watch Gunning Around on Facecrap or YouTube. Always entertaining, and love how they engage their listeners, even when I'm an ass, for laughs, and the camaraderie between our fabulous host. I should be reading this with a French accent, I think.
Mais oui.
And the camaraderie between our fabulous host, French Baguette.
Makes me want to punch you.
You guys and other mutual friends who have gunny podcasts have made it much easier going through this blasted healing process of my heart surgery and helped me from losing my shit from over 2 months of doctor-recommended self-isolation as to not catch any virus. All the podcasts are great, though this one has the best feel to watch. Thanks, guys. You're still assholes. Love you fucktards like brothers. Your faithful East Coast listener, 22LR Zipperman.
God, you make us blush, Luke.
That was awesome. Now make it official and leave it on the recommended part.
Just gotta love that guy. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy. And if you want to have your review read on air, leave it on facebook.com/gunningaround, email it to info@gunningaround.com, or leave it on wherever you get podcasts from. So generally, so
cool. All right, we got our founding sponsor ad. Serving the Canadian gun industry since 2016, M14 Medic Firearms specializes in M14 pattern rifles as well as Garand rifles. In light of recent changes to the classification of the M14 family of firearms, M14 Medic will be taking a break from wrenching on the platform and figuring out how to evolve the business in a different direction. Keep an eye on the website, m14medic.ca, for more details. I'm sure this will be interesting, John.
Oh, it's going to be, yeah, interesting. That's a very good way to put it. This could be a huge mistake.
Well, you know what, man? You won't know if you don't try, right?
That's right.
And you've got to do something. For
True
sure.
enough. Shout out to Oscar because he's awesome.
Absolutely, man. He's been helping you out a lot. Yeah. Hey, Dave, do you know Jack Sandrelli?
Yeah, he's the president at the UBC Shooting Sports Club out in Vancouver there.
Good to have you here, Jack.
And yeah, my other buddy, Sam James there, he's out in Victoria, and he's actually running our new podcast that we're just starting up.
Oh, good for you guys.
What's that called?
Sorry?
What's that called?
Well, we haven't started it yet. We haven't even had our first episode. I just talked to them over the weekend, and then we'll start pumping them out here sometime soon.
It's so easy.
We're expecting to be on, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. First 3 guests right here.
There you go.
We're a package, though. Hey, we don't come individually.
Oh,
We
God,
can't
yeah.
even function individually.
We got to have the whole gunning around crew on.
That's
for sure.
right. That's right.
Exactly.
You get the full retard.
Deal. Yeah.
Really.
Don Voisin. Hey, Rooster, going to build my first long range rig, 308 or 6.5 284. Well, if you want a short action, it's 308, I guess. If you don't care short action or long action, go long action with 6.5 284. I guarantee you'll be impressed with the ballistics on that guy. Shoot a 142, 143, 147 bullet out of that 6.5 284, and it'll be all smiles, I guarantee.
See, I would go a different day. I would go a different way with that one, but yeah.
Where would you go, John?
I would probably tell someone if they really want to shoot long range to start with something in the 6mm family. I would probably, if you're like me and you're thrown back to the 70s, I'd go 243, but a 6XC or a 6 Creed or something like that would be a really good place to start.
Do you really believe that a 6 will outshoot a 6.5 at long range? Oh, the silence.
Depends.
Go 6.5. I mean, if you really want to reach out there a long ways and be able to buck the wind a little bit better, and especially if you're shooting steel, those how do I say?
The 6s don't ring steel like a 6.5.
They don't. Yeah.
When you get an extra 30, 40 grains impacting on the target, the gong ring is just a little bit
sure.
better.
And then there's Jens, God bless him. Go 6.5 Rooster.
Mike says Don, our range is 260 meters. Fuck, just buy a rimfire, Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and Oren says barrel life sucks, and I'm certain he's referring to 6.5 284.
Well,
but
my 6mm is going to be lucky to get 800 rounds on the tube before it's done.
Right.
So yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. So there's so many of these, and including Jens' 6.5 PRC or 6.5 short action ultra mag. Once you get into this damn game, barrels are consumables.
Yep.
You go 1,000 rounds, and depending on the game you're playing, like you can shoot steel, probably 600 rounds beyond what a lot of guys say is beyond accurate barrel life. And when you hear guys talk about that, it's talking about the F-class guys that shoot for score.
That's right. They're shooting MOA, and they don't want to be outside of that MOA range, right?
Yeah. Dennis has a great point here. Sorry, Sean, we're kind of getting off a little bit.
We are, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Dave had to bleed his weasel, it looks like. So
Yeah, it looks like he scrambled fast there. But Dennis with Go Ballistic Gunsmithing says a 6 mil will out ag a 6.5 without wind. That's why they hold 1,000-yard records. Yeah, like the
precisely
6 BR and the variants like the 6 Dasher, especially, right?
I think the six BR I think currently holds the smallest 5-round group at 1,000 yards.
I think you're right. However, that was not shot in Saskatchewan, where the winds are constantly high.
1050 cold bore. Who else on the panel can say they've hit a 1050 cold bore at Kurt's range?
Yeah, Jeff Blackbeard. Fuck you.
He's not on the panel.
Sorry, I neglected to hear the panel part.
hey, let's get on topic.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, guys. So tonight we have the Canadian University Shooting Federation on. Dave's here with us, and do you want me to read this whole description of the?
No, Dave. Why don't you tell us what this is?
Yeah, sure. So, essentially, I founded the Canadian University Shooting Federation in January of 2018 after I was going to school at Carleton University. And, I had revitalized the shotgun team that they had there. I'd been working a bunch with the firearms club, and I was like, hey, we need like a league to shoot in. So banded together with 4 of the other universities across the country at the time. And we founded the Canadian University Shooting Federation as a national nonprofit. So from there, I finished my studies at Carleton. I moved back to Calgary. I met the people who founded the Mount Royal Gun Club, as well as the University of Calgary Firearms Association. They came on board, and then that was late 2018. And since then, it's just blown up. So in the last year, we've started almost 10 clubs to bring the total number of firearms clubs at Canadian universities up to 19. Nice. We've held 4 competitions, and our focus is really just on shooting sports for university students, as well as just firearms clubs for firearms education, conservation education for students nationwide.
So what universities are you currently that you have clubs at? You said 19, but name some of them.
Yeah, so you can go to cusf.ca/teams, and you can see the full list there. Okay. But so at the moment, we got a couple out in BC, out in Vancouver. We got UBC, we got BCIT, we got University of Victoria has a club. We move into the prairies, and then we have University of Calgary, Mount Royal, both in Calgary, obviously. And we have a couple students trying to start clubs up in Edmonton.
Nice.
Out in Saskatchewan with you guys. Obviously, I met you guys all at the Regina Gun Show, right?
Yep.
So we got a club being started out of the Moose Jaw Polytechnic. We got a couple leads, University of Regina, but just need to find like kind of the right person to start the club there. U of S up in Saskatoon with you guys there. And then, nothing in Winnipeg, unfortunately, because the University of Winnipeg, as well as the University of Manitoba, denied our guys that were trying to start clubs there.
Whoa.
On Ontario, we got a whole bunch. Ontario, like Ottawa is a big hotspot. We got clubs at all 3 of the schools in Ottawa.
Wow.
Southern Ontario is also huge. In the Waterloo, Kitchener area, we have Waterloo, we have Wilfrid Laurier. Then over in Guelph, we have a bunch of people trying to start a club there. We got Western out in Windsor, Western out in London, Ontario. We got Windsor right on the border with Detroit there. We got RMC, they have a club that competes with like West Point and like the British officers school and stuff, right? So, and then unfortunately, but nothing in also Concordia. Concordia was one of our clubs so kind of the history behind that, they got approved out in Montreal. Then they ended up getting shut down. The people didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. Ideology is politics, right? So they raised an appeal, and just last week they got their appeal accepted. So they're an official club out at Concordia in Montreal. So our first Quebec club.
Nice.
And then, yeah, Atlantic Canada, we got some initiatives to start clubs there. But yeah, again, so what it really boils down to, right, is the student association. Are they going to have some ideological bent against us to prevent a club? Which, honestly, in most cases, it isn't. But for the biggest factor in starting a club at a Canadian university is the student itself. Because I run the Canadian University Shooting Federation, but we're a sports league essentially, right? We're a sports league. We're an education organization. We're not actually starting these clubs and having events on campus. What we do is we enable the students to start their own clubs, and then we help the students out in whatever way that we can, right? To try to make these clubs successful, to try to forward their mission, mentor these young students, provide them funding, right? So that's kind of our role in it. And the biggest thing is having that student that's willing to start the club at the university level.
Right.
Nice.
We got a question from Dennis Lair. He asks us, what disciplines do the clubs compete in? Like, is it just, are they trap clubs or what do they do?
So currently we offer 3 disciplines with a 4th in progress. So we do trap, skeet, and small bore rifle. We do this because they're all Olympic sports. They're very well accepted in the non-shooting community. People understand that these are legitimate sports, right? And then currently we're starting up a air rifle league, just because of the way that the COVID has impacted all of our club operations. We had to shut down our competitions for the spring 2020 season. So instead, we're looking to go forward with an air gun competition where the students can shoot in their basement, they can shoot in their backyard, they can shoot out on the farm, wherever it is, right? And they can submit their targets to our air rifle competition, and then it's exactly what the cadets does, or
that's that postal match type thing, isn't it?
Sorry,
that's that postal match type.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
mail-in targets. So we accept photos of targets for certain scores, but the scores that are going to be competitive to be like number 1, number 2, number 3, the students actually have to mail in the targets for those with a sticker attached, right? To verify that they actually shot the targets. So it's a bit of an honor system, but at the same time, we just want to encourage competition among students across the board, right?
For sure.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Skeet, finally your show is discussing a real sport. All right. Sure.
So what are some of the main I guess troubles you would come across when trying to start up one of these clubs?
So the troubles come a couple different ways. One of the ways, obviously, is having a university student union with a government that has an unfavorable view on firearms, and not like the Canadian government, like the student governance has their views on firearms, and they'll whatever we do, however we show them that we're legal gun owners, we're sport shooters, we're competitors, they'll say guns are bad. We don't want this on our campus, right? So that's one of the hurdles, but it's very, very rare in terms of like what I expected, right? Like I always considered campuses these left-leaning anti-gun organizations, but in reality, 95% of the students are interested in coming out to the range, right? Think about they're all raised on Call of Duty. They're all playing these first-person shooters. They're all looking for something to do, right? They want to have a hobby, something to go out do with friends. So for example, when I was at Carleton University, coming from Calgary, going to Ottawa, I was like, oh, Carleton's based in Ottawa. There's going to be all these really anti-gun people. They're gonna hate this firearms club. But when I joined the club and when I talked to people in the hallways, they really people very receptive to it. And it kind of broke down 5% were current gun owners or they had guns, their parents had guns, something like that, and they were just easy sells, right? 90% of the people didn't have an opinion on guns, but they were willing to come out and try it. And then 5% of the people were very anti-gun, right? So if one of those very anti-gun people were part of a critical part of the student union, then that's a case where we get a club denied. So
I think you pretty much find, I think the Canadian population pretty much follows that same percentage base,
Across
if that
the board,
makes any
yeah.
sense.
Exactly. No, exactly. 100%. Right. So I put my biases aside. And so that's one of the biggest obstacles you run into. The only other real obstacle we run into is just kind of anti-intellectualism among a small portion of the gun community, where they say universities are exclusive, like they're these liberal organizations. Why would you ever try to start a firearms club there, right? But that's obviously the wrong take to have on it, the wrong message, right? So again, that's a very small part of the Canadian firearms community, but most of the community has understood how big of an effort this is in terms of educating young people and showing them, right, like the facts around firearms ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of the third situation we run across is not a student union being upset with the club, but like a group of students that are looking to cause trouble. So, for example, for example, right, at UBC, they have their AMS shooting sports at UBC club. They've been around since 2017, one of the original founders of the Canadian University Shooting Federation. And they've faced instances, so they have an initial clubs fair type thing, where so all the students that are starting at UBC walk down some really long road that's on the campus, and all the clubs like set up booths to be like, hey, come join our club if you're interested. Like, this is something to do, right? To introduce the first year students to all the clubs that are on campus. So somebody phoned the police, the campus security on one of the clubs, said that they had a gun, said that they were harassing students, just made up a bunch of bullshit. And then the campus security went and made them take down their display, and obviously ruined their recruiting effort for that semester, right? So again, very rare. That's like one of the only incidences we've ever had of backlash against our clubs, but it's out there, right? It does happen in the rare scenario.
Where was that one?
UBC. Yeah,
UBC,
like out
right.
in Vancouver there, like
Again, shock.
Part of Vancouver.
Shock.
But what is really shocking to me is the fact that it was very easy for them to start the club, as well as that's the only incident they've ever had, and they've had so many students come through the club and really enjoy the shooting, right? And like, it's the same across the board. You get these one-off scenarios where people are upset about shooting, but that's not the norm, right?
For sure.
Apparently, they're not very resilient protesters.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like firearms owners are willing to go out there and put on the effort to create an organization like this. There's very few people that are willing to go in and try to knock down your efforts to create a club, right?
So Todd Wilson has a question. Will the new firearms regulations affect the operations / aim of the clubs and the federation?
So it won't affect the aim of the clubs right now. Obviously, they're the firearms education organizations, they're sports shooting teams, and all the clubs will continue operating no matter what guns they ban, right? They will go down to the last 22 if they have to. Obviously, so with the COVID, nothing affects our operations because we have no operations, right? None of the schools are open. We're not putting on events as the Canadian University Shooting Federation. So we're just kind of waiting to see how this all shakes out, right? Like, we're not looking to interpret any firearms laws. We're just saying, all right, we'll let the advocacy orgs do their thing. We'll pursue our own options in terms of if for example, shotguns are banned, obviously we'll pursue our own legal action against the government, but we're just kind of at a wait and see of where this OIC is going. Are the Liberals going to withdraw it? Are they going to force this down our throats, right? So everything's yet to be determined, and by the time fall rolls around, when our clubs start operations, that's kind of when I anticipate the schools will start up again, right? September. So once that happens and the clubs get back up to operations, we'll have some sort of framework for them to work with them.
Right.
Perfect.
Ron Allen, as the university graduate and an active competition shooter, this sounds fantastic to get these clubs organized for sure, man.
Yeah. No, you're doing great. Have you had much support from like the NGOs like the CCFR, CSSA, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so all of the orgs have supported us. The CSSA has helped us a bunch. The CCFR has helped us tremendously. We've had a bunch of talks with the NFA, so we're happy to have the NFA support too. As well as we had Alison DeGroot from the CSAAA, right, like the industry organization. She actually she joined our board. So yeah, we talk to these guys all the time. They're the biggest thing is that we try to keep the separation between advocacy orgs and what we're doing in the sport shooting realm, right? Like we are not. Some people don't understand that we're not an advocacy organization. We're not going to go out and we're not going to be creating petitions. We're not going to try to make this a political thing. We're just going to present the facts. We're going to show how whatever the government does affects our membership. Just show how the true form of shooting sports, how they are in the community, right?
That's important, man. Jesus. Facts.
Well,
facts.
you know,
like
and it's funny,
Bill
like-
Baird says, facts matter. The truth matters, right?
100%, right? So
I kind of see you guys like you say you're not an advocacy organization, but I would argue the point that you guys are kind of a frontline advocacy group, not advocacy per se, but you're trying to form an organization that is pro firearms in a culture. A part of our culture where you have a lot of anti-gun sentiment, and I would hazard a guess that a lot of universities, if you talk to the dean of a university or their board of directors, they're going to have a natural tendency to be anti-gun. So in that regard, you guys are kind of the front line, the next generation, getting them used to having firearms in our culture, in our environment, in our cities, in our towns, and normalizing it in a way that I think is really important, because if the population of Canada doesn't realize that firearms are actually, they're used for more than just hunting. They're not the legal and peaceful use of firearms is a normal everyday activity. If that point isn't hammered home in places like universities, and you see this
especially universities.
Well, exactly, because like most of the liberal, and I use air quotes, liberal thinkers that I know have all become liberal thinkers at universities. They were normal people until they went to university. They come out of university and now they're hardcore Green Party supporter type, nut bars, right?
There's nothing wrong with Green Party supporters. There's nothing wrong with NDP supporters. There's something wrong with Liberal supporters.
When I think about it, among the student population, they're some of the most those minds are some of the most susceptible to influence.
Absolutely.
In the entire population of Canada, and if you can get through to them, they're so easily steered by the herd and by their mentors, which are the teachers, the professors, all that kind of stuff. The bourgeois.
Cheers, Dave.
And if you can get through to them, especially after the herd and the professors have gotten to them, man, that is a huge victory. To deliver that bunch of truth and facts, instead of emotion. And let's face it, from holy Jesus from 12 years old to in a lot of cases 30 years old. Emotion rules most minds.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
Look at the gun debate in
Oh.
general. It's all
Yeah.
emotion.
It is very
Nobody
much
listens
so.
to anybody, and it's good to see an organization like yourself, Dave, or the one you head up. It's good to see you guys making such progress. Like 19 universities across Canada. That's no
Amazing.
slouch. That's
awesome.
phenomenal. Great work, man. Do not let it go to your head, because if you slouch, if you lose one, you're going to drive to Calgary University.
Love an intervention.
I do this for my full-time job every day, and if I do my job right, then I get a paid position out of this. So we're looking at working with major sponsors. We're looking at making this a big long-term thing. So I mean, there's nothing really at this point that can stop us. And I mean, I dedicate 40, 50 hours a week to this consistently. So I mean, right?
Wow.
This is I went to school for engineering, and I want to be a fighter pilot for the Canadian Forces. Until I get accepted to the Canadian Forces, I'm dedicating 40, 50 hours a week to this.
Nice.
So
Good for you.
but there's some points I'd like to address that you guys brought up there, because they're interesting to talk about.
By all means.
The first is the preconception that campuses have a skew towards liberalism, right? And you can see from this guy's contest, right? There are some more conservatively based campuses, but generally that doesn't, like, our approach is to be nonpartisan, right?
Mhm.
We're trying to show these guys, hey, this is a real sport. This is a varsity sport. We want this to be a university league, and there's nothing political about this, right? Which at the core of it, there isn't. But you know, when the government comes in and makes these laws that make no sense, that punish us, unfortunately, it gets
It
political.
becomes that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, the biggest thing is that people stay positive, and they understand that they're educating the next generation, right? And that the reason why these clubs have been so popular. This is my personal opinion, and I've discussed this with a lot of our directors before. But it's like, why are these shooting clubs so popular on campus? How come we've been able to start up 10 in the last year, and we have another 12 on the go in various forms of application, right? So ideally, in the next year, we're up to 30 clubs across the country. So why are they so popular, right? So my idea is that there's nothing on campus for somebody that wants to get outside, like just engage in a community, have a good time, right? And like not be, I guess, it's not that they're subjected to these left-wing things, but I mean, it's like I have no interest in joining a basket weaving club. I want to shoot guns in my spare time.
Dave, don't knock until you try it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Sean here, a lifelong basket weaver.
Right.
Yeah. Those institutionalizations, they really mess with your hobby times.
Anyway, so yeah.
Oscar has a really good question here that I never thought of until he mentioned it. But how hard is it for clubs to stay active and well managed with the constant changeover of students? Because let's face it, you go to university for what, 4 or 5 years, and then you go on to your career, right? So,
and this is even worse at the college level, because we're the Canadian University Shooting Federation, but we have clubs at colleges that do 2-year degrees, right? So how do you keep a club running and find new members, right? And this is
constant campaign.
This is a big part of our clubs department, right? So, and this is a big so we have a dedicated clubs department that deals with the clubs on a one-on-one basis, asks them what the problems are, provides leadership, mentorship, right? And it's like, it's all about finding and recruiting that first-year student, that second-year student that you can train, and they can go up through the ranks of the organization. And then once they reach 3rd year, 4th year, they're ready to be president of the club. And a big consideration, right, is that current president, we always encourage them, we're like, start thinking about, as soon as your first term as president starts, who is going to replace you, right?
Mhm.
Because If somebody doesn't replace you, then the club falls. So they need to be actively recruiting and finding new people to replace themselves. So this is a blessing and a curse, though, because the other side of the coin is that we have constant graduation from these clubs. So therefore, we have constant people that, all right, they graduated university, where they are running a gun club. Where are they going to go volunteer? I would hope the Canadian University Shooting Federation.
Mm-hmm.
And they would want to see what they did at the club level, join us, and then improve what we're doing to make these clubs even better, right?
Yeah. So the Western Firearms Association has a comment here. It says, Dave is hitting it right on the head. Us at the WFA take the approach of introducing the sport first, having them hooked into the sport before anything else. Once people are interested, they will naturally become better informed and become advocates themselves.
It's so true.
And that's 100% accurate, and that's why I'm a proponent of taking people to the range, like, coworkers.
Yeah.
Maybe that shows an interest whatsoever in taking someone to the range. Take them to the range. Eat the cost of the ammo, whatever it takes. But just if you get people to the range, it turns them from a fence sitter to somebody that's gonna sign that petition or write that letter or that kind of thing, right? So
well, like I was telling you a couple of episodes ago, I think I opened a can of worms with my girlfriend's son. He'd never been out shooting before I took him out there. I couldn't get the fucking guy off the range.
Yeah, it's just like heroin. You give him the first taste for free.
That's right. That first sniff.
So Michael, thank you from Olds College. So the company I work for supports a lot of tech training at Olds College, and he has a question. So I understand your point exactly. It's that people make it political, but I know myself being at Olds College, I would enjoy being part of a club like this as well as many other students. College level, we have new students every year. Would you be willing to come out and speak to students during a club event night in the future? Dave, that's your business right there, buddy.
Absolutely.
I would be absolutely thrilled. I'd be more than happy to. So, I mean, again, this is what I do for my full-time job. So anytime I will drive fucking 12, 15 hours to fucking do what it takes, right? Like, it really doesn't matter to me.
So Mike, thank you. I think if you want, you can send us an email at info@gunningaround.com and we'll forward that on to Dave and you guys can just hit each other up here on Facebook or something like that, or I'm sure that would work too. So Dave, how can people find you?
You can find me at dfahlman@cusf.ca. That's my email. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. We have a website, cusf.ca. We got a YouTube channel starting, Canadian University Shooting Federation. We have a podcast starting. You can reach us pretty much anywhere that's online. You can fire us a message.
Perfect.
Right. Are you looking for volunteers even outside of University Shooting Federation?
I'm very happy you asked there, Sean. We are
people that work for free.
Exactly. We are constantly recruiting. We want your slave labor. So there's two streams to joining the Canadian University Shooting Federation. You can join us on the national level as a volunteer that helps us as a national nonprofit organize these clubs, run our programs, et cetera, et cetera. The other way you can join us is through, I'm really excited about this, our field officer program that we're getting set up this summer. So,
field officer, I got to join.
Right. Oh yeah, I'd be more than happy to have any of you guys join. And the biggest thing is that we're just trying to set these clubs up with additional manpower, right? Like, these are students, maybe they don't have their gun because they didn't bring it from mom and dad's house when they went to university. Maybe they don't have a car with them when they're out there, right? So maybe it's a force multiplier for us. Maybe we can find people to run booths at gun shows and recruit more students for us. You can set up a booth at a university for us. So the field officer program is really meant for just a manpower multiplier, help our clubs out, help the CUSF out as a whole. Boots on the ground, you're out there, you're shooting with people, you're showing them the ropes, you're informing the next generation, right? And that's really what we're all about. So stay tuned for that at the end of the summer here. We're we're just developing all the training material, getting the program all set up, and we should be ready to rock for August in the fall.
Nice. Mike says I work for free if it's gun stuff. I read that wrong the first time. Anyway,
It's into the handies behind the Walmart category, I think.
Yeah,
well,
something about blowing loads, right?
Right. That's true.
shooting wads, pushing wads, right? Yeah. Cool.
Mike says, what kind of legality is needed for a club to be started? Are there current matters we can speak to? And can you repeat your name and email? We posted his email in the chat here. So where is it now?
Yeah, Dave got Fallman.
Scroll up.
Yeah, scroll up.
So this is an interesting question, because one of the things that the clubs need is insurance for their shooting liabilities, right? So unfortunately, this is one of the avenues that the universities use to shut us down in terms of, oh, sorry, we couldn't get insurance for shooting sports. It's a high risk activity, even though it's a very, very, very low risk activity, right?
Statistically, the safest activity on that campus. But
So yeah, I mean, in terms of the legality for the club to be started, you just have to consult your student union's bylaws. You can start in the athletic department. You can start in the student union, and you can see exactly what they require. But yeah, and we have a legal department that will help you through any waivers, insurance issues, things like that, right?
Okay.
Awesome.
There are a couple of comments here. Corey Rutan, for one, going back a little bit, taking people to the range. I do the same at my range. We try to have new people out a couple of days a month just to grow the sport. As well, Francois, he and I have talked offline or off air, I guess, several times, and he does. Whether or not he wants us mentioned on the air, I don't know. But
Doesn't matter.
in his circle, he does the same thing at if I can remember correctly, at least a couple of times a year. He gets a bunch of new shooters out. Same with me out at my range, just like last Thursday. Had a crew of guys. I think we had 23 guys out there. A construction project that was coming to an end. Kind of a team building event, bringing new shooters out and everything. It's essential. It's big. And it opens a lot of people's eyes. The smiles that I saw out at the range that day was just amazing. And if more people did that, I think we'd have more backing for all this stuff. So keep it up, guys. Spread it around. And if you can, take somebody to the range. Take a new shooter to the range. There's a lot of people interested, but they don't know how to get into it. They don't know who to turn to. And they need some guidance. They're a lot of times they're afraid of it. Francois here, he says 4 times a year he does this.
Wow.
Sounds like you should tell him to be a CCFR field officer.
He already he said right there, I'm in.
Let's go. Volunteer at farmrights.ca and Dave.Fallman at CUSF.ca. Let's go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, that hits it on the head, right? Because it's like politicians are only against guns because it gets them votes. So they don't give a fuck about who we are, right? No.
Yeah.
Versus like, it's exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's that 90% of the population that doesn't have an opinion on firearms, and the way that you change them, right, is getting some trigger time. They shoot a gun once, you see the fucking eyes light up. I've taken thousands of people to the range from doing the university side of things through the clubs. I've had one person tell me that it was a neutral experience. They didn't like it. Fucking everybody else was so into it, right? Yep. And then they get it. They're like, why is the fucking government attacking us legal firearms owners when they should be taking care of the goddamn problem?
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir here, man. We understand. The reason we got Warren Steinley and Aaron O'Toole coming on is to counteract your point. Because actually, Warren reached out to me, Warren Steinley, to be like, hey, we understand that this affects gun owners. Like, can we come on and let's do something? So, which is huge. I've never had that before, right? So,
You were never on the internet before, though, either.
true. Cool.
All right. Do we want to do a sponsor break here, you guys?
Yep.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, just give me a second. I'm putting it in there.
This is
All right.
radio.
What's that? Sorry.
Fabulous radio.
All right. One of the things you could do, email us at info@gunningaround.com and tell us about your EM Precision rifle builds, videos of you or yours shooting, or questions or comments you might have for us. We're open to any sort of questions, comments, scrutiny of any type. Almost any type. Just don't keep it out of the personal realm. keep it firearms. Give us pictures, all your builds, everything. And back.
Hold on. I'm working on here. I'll do because we're gonna do an EM Precision highlight, right?
Yep.
So let's see
Find a
here.
picture. Oscar Long says, I try to take new people out, but I live in a town where even the 90-year-old ladies have a gun. So
That is the greatest thing ever.
yeah, rural Alberta. Go figure, Oscar.
Hey, Kurt, look at that beauty behind you and tell me what's different about this.
Oh, Schmidt and Bender scope. That's about all, and that looks like a Defiance action instead of a Curtis Custom.
This is Carrie's gun.
Really?
So that's the picture that I got sent from Steve, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So look at that sexy piece of machine, and the muzzle device is different too, isn't it?
Well, and it's a monopod on it instead of the bag rider.
So Rito, what's the build sheet on that thing look like, Sean?
I don't have that.
That's a Defiance action. I don't know what the barrel is. That'll be a custom EM Precision brake. Schmidt and Bender scope. That's still a spur mount. MPA chassis, vertical grip, and monopod, Harris bipod, and the barricade stop from MPA, and of course the 2-round match saver.
What's a build like that worth, you think, Kurt?
That'll probably
The optic alone.
That'll be probably a $7,000 to $8,000 build.
Wow.
Minus scope.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Holy smokers.
You want to see another build? Luke from earlier in the show.
There's a build, boys.
That's a build. Attaboy.
That guy. That'll scare the COVID right the hell out of you, boy.
Yeah. Okay. That's
hey, what camo pattern is that?
I don't know.
That's Real Tree Red. I don't know.
That's Real Tree, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
You got to get the red from the leaves in there.
Yeah, COVID pattern. The old COVID pattern face mask.
That's right.
COVID NB.
Michael Frankio says, I'm the president of the Students Association this year, and I will send you an email tomorrow, hopefully to set something up. I feel my membership would be interested in it. Good job. I think we just hooked you up with another school. That's awesome.
Fucking right.
Gunning around, bringing people together, man.
That's right. Every day, all day.
A couple other comments here. Corey Rutan again. The most common concern I get from non-shooters before they come out is that they will like it too much. I get that a lot too.
That's true. Yeah.
What if I like it too much? Then I have to go buy one. So go fucking buy one.
Yeah, not that bad.
Dennis Larry, you're so right. You get them to the range, they're hooked. My comp guns are always ready for a new shooter. Yep, that's, you know what, that accounts for a lot of barrel life in my guns as well. Yeah.
Hey, Kurt, why don't you tell us about the Curtis Vector?
Why don't I? You really caught me off guard here.
You were going to do it. You added it to the show notes.
Oh, that's right. All right. The Curtis Vector is a 3-lug design featuring a 60-degree bolt throw. Really nice DLC coating throughout, integrated recoil lug and 20-minute rail. It's not an attached rail like a lot of other actions. The Vector is also manufactured. Say again.
Actually milled into the in action.
It's milled right in one piece with the action 20-minute rail. You bet. The Vector is also manufactured with a quick change feature for switch barrel options, all without a barrel vise or a torque wrench. It has double set screw on either side of the action, I guess.
Really?
So yeah, spin it in, tighten up those set screws, and away you go.
Wow.
You betcha. Todd Wilson, do a sponsor break for Bolt Action Coffee. Well, you know what, Todd? That is
Just
coming
me.
up.
Shh.
Damn
It's
it.
out of the bag.
Yeah, cat. Fuck off, you little bastard.
Hey, back to the Curtis Custom. Look at this piece of work. Woo.
Yoka.
What is it?
Oh, that's nice.
Outside in the rain or what?
I don't know, but it's fucking sexy. I tell you what.
That's the Navy seawater test right there.
Yeah, the salt spray.
Salt spray, yeah. 100 hours of salt spray.
Here,
Ben says that's my 6.5 Salm. Is that the one that you were showing there? That blue rifle?
well, I had it tagged as
Your bail.
It might be his.
6K without.
Oh, that's right. Jesus. Why didn't I
Was that-
recognize that thing? That's why that Schmidt and Bender is on there. That's Jens's 6.5 short action Ultra Mag. That's why I know. Yeah. That's why I know those scopes. That's why I know that Defiance action.
Didn't I call you like on Monday being like, what was that action on Jens's rifle?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but that was a different rifle.
Oh, was it? That was a Defiance action too that I was talking about. The one that was at green.
I think Jens has 3 of those Defiance actions now.
Look,
You must really like them.
Oh, they're so sexy.
They
Look at
are
this.
nice.
Speaking of Curtis actions,
Oh,
fucking A. Look at that. That is hot. Anyway,
yes, sir.
cool.
It's a good
Great
thing
radio.
you're only seeing me from the neck down. I got a chub.
Would we be able to see it anyway, Kurt?
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm at 2, Dave's at 2, so hey, I can have another one. It's okay.
So Silvio's got a good comment here. One thing you might want to consider at universities is a ladies' night. We've had a few at our club and it's been very successful. Is that something you guys do at the USFA, or is that just something that you're just kind of that's not even in your wheelhouse kind of thing?
Oh no, for sure. Happy you brought this up there, John. If I can. So yeah, there's 3 big programs that we're in the process of developing right now. Our field officer program, which we've already talked about, our conservation program, which I'd be happy to talk more about, as well as our program. So that's being headed up by Rahina, who's current or former head of the UFC Firearms Association, as well as a woman. So she knows fucking
Good
both
for her.
things. She knows both things that we need for our women's shooting events to be responsible or like successful, right? She's a woman, fucking she's run these events before. So the big thing is, right, generally our gender split between male and female for our clubs is like 90% men, 10% women. I think it's actually a stat. Women make up 13% of firearms owners. So, right, based on that, and all of our leadership at the clubs level is a bunch of dudes. And I know when I was an 18-year-old dude, I brought out my fucking girlfriend and I said, hey, fucking shoot this 12 gauge in my can, right? And like, fucking scares the fuck out of her with the can. And you hand her the 12 gauge and tell her to shoot some buckshot. And then they're just like terrified of shooting, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, well done.
So fucking that's I learned that the hard way, right? And then you finally understand that the best way to get women involved is 22s. The AR platform is fucking perfect. 20 gauges, right? And then you work your way up from there. So obviously there's a bunch of considerations to getting women more involved. Rahina is currently working with her committee to develop our women's program, push that out to our clubs, and try to get as many young women exposed in a positive experience to firearms as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's sweet. That's a great idea.
For sure.
So what's the conservation program? What's that all about? Tell us about that.
So yeah, we partnered with Safari Club International, if you know who they are. Big multinational organization, and their Canadian wing has, I think, 16 chapters. So I went and presented at their AGM. They decided to partner with us, give us a bunch of funding, and we said, how do we make this successful? How do we make young people understand conservation, understand that hunting is saving these animals, that fishing is saving these animals, that these are the groups going up and cleaning up the streams. It's not Greenpeace is not doing fucking shit, right? Like, it's the hunters, it's the anglers, it's the fucking Canadians that are involved in conservation efforts.
Yeah.
So our idea here is essentially at the higher level. Let's take Safari Club because they're one of our main sponsors. So Safari Club, they have their national organization. We talk to them on the national level so that they can inform their local clubs what our local clubs have to do. So it's kind of a synergy, right? But we talk to them nationally. We get our local clubs involved with their chapters locally, and then they can do. We kind of split it up into 3 major parts. So our conservation program runs in a cycle where in the fall, conservation organizations provide mentored hunting experiences. In the winter, they provide subsidized opportunities to get your hunting license. And then in the summer, they provide community social events, right? So that's they go clean up a stream for a day with the university club. These organizations organize like a barbecue, fucking have a couple beers, you know, like just get these students exposed to what the conservation community is all about, and just try to get them more involved in the outdoors, right? So
right. How many hundreds of millions of dollars is generated from conservation in this country? It's just wild. Yeah,
massive. If not billions, right?
Yeah.
Like so. I know the firearms community generates over $6 billion in Canadian revenue, and why are we punishing our firearms owners with laws right when this COVID shit hits and our economy is going to shit? We're gonna hurt these businesses that support hunting, shooting sports, collectors, what you name it, right? It's
because we want to cannibalize this country. That's why
48,000 people rely on the firearms industry to provide their put the food on the table at their home in Canada.
Exactly.
48,000 people are employed in the firearms industry, and I remember reading a stat somewhere that said something like hunters and shooters in Canada provide 89% of the conservation dollars that are spent in the country. So
no question.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah. It's good to hear that you guys are on that side as well. That's a good thing to do. So,
and the big thing is, right, like people sometimes group it kind of like not to criticize you here or anything, right? But people group it into hunters and shooters, but they're the same people, right? Hunters are shooters. So I mean, like, we have to unite with our hunting brethren and fucking, right. This is a shooting sports is for everybody. Hunting is for everybody. Right. No matter what your age, your race, your sexual orientation, I don't give a fuck. Come shoot guns.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, and leave it to the government to, single out Ducks Unlimited, right? Because the shotgun. Sorry, guys, the Belgian white flow through me like snake flow through grass. So I did. So
that's why I wear a diaper.
But so did we cover the news? Right?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
on the main topic here. Are we get to the main topic now, or what?
Well, we're gonna have to because we're at an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half now.
So sorry, Dave.
Jeez, that went quick, man.
Yeah, we can talk to him for hours about this shit, man.
No doubt.
Oh,
Anyway,
buddy.
we got to get into the news, Dave. Sorry, buddy. We'll come back to you here. So the shotgun ban, that's a thing
my
now,
God.
apparently. So,
Well,
Dave-
talk about Blair too, the lying piece of shit that he is.
Whoa. That's
Why,
not.
whoa?
That's not.
No, whoa.
well, because tweets hold up in a court of law. So, John, why don't you tell us about what we're talking about?
Okay, so 12 gauge shotguns have a when they're measured at the bore.
Mhm.
When they're measured in the bore, according to CVSA, they measure the widest point of the bore. So they stick a micrometer into the bore. Is that what it's called? The micrometer, where you measure the inside of something?
Yeah, inside mic. Yeah.
Caliper, yeah, whatever.
They measure the chamber. They measure the forcing cone. They measure the barrel, and they measure the choke.
Joke.
And apparently, if any portion of that barrel, according to CVSA, is over 20 millimeters, they would not allow its importation into Canada.
What if I intentionally bulge my barrel?
Sorry?
What if I intentionally bulge my barrel?
Well, that would make it the widest portion of the barrel, would it not?
And therefore,
Anyways,
And me and it.
20.16 is there was an Ivor Johnson that was measured, and it was 20.16. Apparently 20.1 is the average forcing cone width of a 12 gauge shotgun barrel. So I just kind of assumed before that 20 millimeters was 20 millimeters, and according to the letter of the law, 20 millimeters is 20 millimeters. And the RCMP has to, I can't remember which group it was, CSSA maybe, contacted the Canadian firearms tech at the CFC, and he said that they would measure the barrel with all, just like they measure the barrel length or anything else like that on any other rifle or any other shotgun, with the muzzle device removed. And that's when they measure the barrel length, and that's when they measure the diameter of the interior of the bore. And if you remove a shotgun choke tube on a 12 gauge shotgun, you get over 20 millimeters because I think the smallest choke tube on the market is 20.16. So I'm not sure. Bill Blair says via tweet that shotguns are not included in the ban, but the way the OIC is written, shotguns are included in the ban because they have to be based on how the law says the RCMP has to measure the barrel of a firearm. I don't know. You can't say it via a tweet and have it become law.
Yeah.
You have
Ipso
to
facto
change.
piece of shit.
Well, here's the thing, and it's very easy for the federal Liberal government that we have in power right now to change the OIC, to rescind the one they have, and issue a different one that says smoothbore shotguns are not exempt. That's all they have to add. And so, but they haven't done that yet. Friday's come and gone, and the Canadian Gazette is published every Friday. So if they were serious in their intent to not include 12 gauge and 10 gauge or 12 gauge shotguns or larger, larger, I guess, then they could have included that verbiage in the OIC by rescinding the old OIC and putting forth a new one on Friday. They didn't. I was listening to a radio broadcast with John Gormley and Ed Burlew, and Ed Burlew said that he knows for a fact that in November 2019, this OIC was written but not put into force. So that tells me that the federal Liberal government, this wasn't a snap kick. This wasn't a spur of the moment plan.
No.
They had gone through this list and they had written this OIC. All they were waiting for was the right opportunity where it might be palatable to the Canadian public to put something like this through. And that is just, I think that's actually worse, to be honest with you, than snap kicking this because something happened. Let's get it done and let's push it through. but you had it ready 6 months ago, and you were prepared to do this 6 months ago. And you didn't do it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this OIC isn't the fact. Like, don't get me wrong, I am financially affected by this OIC to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars. Like I am literally feeling the pinch personally right now, and it's absolutely horrid. But it's not only that, it's not the money, it's the fact that they pushed it through via OIC. Like, how hard is it to pass legislation to say, hey, let's do this in a democratic method. Let's do this.
But it's that emotional backing that they need. That emotion again. It has nothing to do with validity, factually based legislation. It is strictly emotion, and that's like it's preying on emotion, and they got it.
You're goddamn right they got it. They also woke up the majority of Canadian firearms owners with it. And
Right, they did.
And I wanted to touch on it because Ducks Unlimited came out and said they would not be making a statement on it one way or the other. So
Ducks Unlimited has been very vocal in the past that they are not a firearms rights organization. They are a conservation organization, period, dot, right?
Yeah,
so I'm not terribly surprised Duck DU came out and said, hey, right?
A lot of their members are saying, listen, I've donated X amount of dollars and you give away X amount of guns as your prizes every year, and you're not going to make a statement about this? Like, what gives, right?
So I'll give Ducks some credit here because they have consistently donated flats and upon flats of 12 gauge shotgun to our Carleton University shotgun team. But that being said, they have done us really well in the past. So, but their opinion, their tendency to not take a stance on these issues is kind of troubling.
They get a lot of their funding from the government, and they don't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? Jeopardize that funding by making a statement one way or the other.
So I can really speak to that because the Canadian University Shooting Federation, right? We're trying to become a registered amateur athletic association. So that turns us into something that's like Hockey Canada or Soccer Canada, right? Like an amateur sports organization that only promotes these amateur sports. So obviously we are bound through the Charities Directorate of the Canadian government to have no political bias, to have no political leaning. Yet we can come out and say, hey, the OIC is undemocratic. The OIC is not in the favor of public safety, right? And I don't know why Ducks wouldn't be able to do the same thing because they are bound by less restrictions than we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Anyway, well, let's leave it at that. Also, the CCFR is filing a lawsuit against the government, challenging Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So that's cool.
Well, what's really kind of amazing to me is it's not just the CCFR. There's 3 different public announcements of 3 different charter challenges. Some are, I'm not sure if some are backed by the CSAAA or the NFA or the CSSA.
The NFA is doing one, and the CCFR is doing one.
And the CUSF is considering our own charter challenge as well. So that's 4.
Wow.
Good for you guys.
Good for you guys.
So there's that. So support your orgs because they definitely need it to help pay legal fees. So
yeah, send them some cash if you can. Please do. Renew your membership a little early if you can. Things like that, right? Like those, they all make a difference, right? So,
and again, for the 27-ish people that are watching live right now, if you cannot afford to get a CCFR membership or a CSSA membership, let us know. info@gunningaround.com. We will work to get you that membership. So
that's right.
Hey, and that stands for the CUSF too. I'm happy to work with people to get a CUSF membership. It's $30 for general membership, and all your funds go directly towards supporting shooting sports at Canadian universities.
Nice.
Good deal.
So let's get into the naming and shaming segment. So Human Who Doesn't Suck of the Week. So I was on a conference call with Minister Jeremy Harrison, Minister Dustin Duncan of the SAS Party this week to discuss this gun ban and what can be done. They have bigger fish to fry, but they did take a conference call with a few of us to discuss it. And so shout out to them. They're especially Minister Jeremy Harrison. He's our Human Who Doesn't Suck of the Week. So thanks, buddy. Dingleberry of the Week. I'm going to throw this out there. Elizabeth May, that woman needs to shut her pie hole.
God, I would love to see that woman live without any oil for a fucking week.
Yep.
And I'd want to be that elephant on the wall.
Anyway, she's our Dingleberry of the Week. And a dishonorable, Dave, cover your ears. Dishonorable mention to they need to support gun owners. Like, their membership is our gun owners. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. Anyway,
it is a bit. Yep, for sure.
Kurt, what can we do to join the CCFR or CSSA?
Well, now more than ever, join and support our National Firearms Association like the CCFR and the CSSA. Membership to the CCFR costs $40, and the CSSA is $45 and is good for the year. Wouldn't hurt if you bought a shirt, sticker, hat as well. Everything helps. Please be sure to pick up the latest issue of High Capacity Magazine or Caliber Magazine, which are both great publications. Time for a shout out to the CCFR. Tony, I still need a radio ad.
You weren't supposed to read that.
Come on now. No, it's out there now.
Go. And we're back.
That was a long count there, John.
I had a hard time. I'm a little bit pissed right now. I was moving my fingers. It was hard. To really concentrate on which finger I was moving.
Shout out. I got Warren Steinley for listening to me bitch about everything. So thanks, buddy.
All right. I got nothing this week. I didn't look too much into it, but I'm too enraged with all the political shit going on. So I've been kind of how do I say, inward in my own rage. So no shout outs for me. John, what do you got?
Well, I guess big shout out to Bennett Extreme Range Outfitters for coming up with that Athlon Argos 6 to 24 by 50 and some 22 EV ammo. And great, big, massive, oh my freaking God, I want to father his children. Shout out to Oscar for helping me with my web design and my web dev and everything else like that. I haven't seen a bill yet. I kind of got my fingers crossed that he's going to take pity on me and not actually give me a bill. Just say, hey, I want that thing you have. And I'll be like, yeah, no problem.
Horse trading.
That's right. That's right. We'll suck dick for money. Anyways.
Well, who screened this panel?
We'll pass the handies behind the Walmart at this point.
Oh, Dave, please tell me you have a better shout out than that.
All right. Yeah, shout out to John for the handies behind the Walmart. But,
You'll be a customer.
Shout out, I got a shout out to Allison DeGroot from the CSAAA, our industry organization, because she's doing great work behind the scenes to represent businesses, to represent the economic impact that this OIC has on Canadians, and just show that it's completely based in nonsense, and they should follow the facts.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Oscar says he likes the barter system. That's good. I'm in.
Yeah. Silvio's got a good point here. Don't forget Michelle Rempel for her petition. She's lit.
That was at 150K signatures earlier today when I looked. That is
what is
absolutely
that? 48 hours?
Well, it's less than a week. 153,000, 154,000 and change earlier today. It was just absolutely amazing. I can't believe.
Good work.
I don't think it's going to crack over 174,000, which is what the previous leading petition had, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Well,
We're still on time, so.
She's
Cool.
the one politician I've ever met that is really down to earth and super nice. Like, I mean, I met a bunch of other conservative politicians, and they were fairly greasy. But I mean, Michelle is a great person.
Well, let's be honest with each other here now. Generally speaking, 99.5% of all politicians are kind of greasy.
Yes.
Oh,
That's why
100%.
they're politicians.
Exactly. If you want the job, you're not suited for the job.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no kidding.
That's right.
Hey, isn't there some controversy though surrounding Michelle Rampel about some of her past positions on things?
No, but Peter MacKay was actually he's come out with public announcements, in interviews and all that, saying that assault weapon bans are a good thing, and there's some firearms in Canada that Canadian citizens just shouldn't be able to own. And he was literally referring to the AR-15.
Peter MacKay, you're officially off my fucking Christmas card list.
Well,
you prick.
I'll be honest with you, yeah, just zip it right now. But
Yeah.
we got a nice comment from Gregory Wilson.
Yeah, right, Greg.
Is there applying pressure on municipal mayors to make sure they reject the Liberal proposal to allow municipal bans on handguns? This is something I've heard that the Liberals are looking at. They're seriously looking at allowing municipalities and provinces to ban certain types of firearms based on looks as opposed to function and things of that nature. And this is 110% the truth. It's time to start working on your local city councilors and your mayors to let them know how you feel as a taxpayer in their municipality, because let them know that this is not something that you think is a good idea before it's an option for them to follow through on something like that. No, let's face it, anything the municipalities do is going to be mandated by the provincial government. So if your provincial government is, just say, if you're in Quebec, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter what you do or what you say. Right now, I have warm, fuzzy feelings about Scott Moe's SAS party in Saskatchewan, about the firearms file, not about much else. Jason Kenney in Alberta is saying all the right things when it comes to firearms, and so is Doug Ford in Ontario. But BC has been silent on the issue. Manitoba, I don't think is going to go, quote unquote, our way.
You don't?
I don't know about the Maritimes. I don't know enough about political at a municipal / provincial level in the Maritimes to make an informed statement about those kind of things. But yeah, we have to. Because here's how it works.
Wouldn't the smartest move be to accept the responsibility and then turn down the
well, it's not a question of accepting the responsibility. The federal government is talking about legislation that would make the provinces accept the responsibility, whether or not your provincial government then
would get that power to make that determination. Isn't that what they're talking about?
Well, the provincial government has the authority over municipal governments in their province, period, dot, right?
Yeah.
So if the feds give that power to the municipalities, the province has to allow them to use it before the municipality can use it.
Right.
In Saskatchewan and Alberta and Ontario, the premiers have come out and said, not only no, but hell no, right? Yeah. So that's one thing right there. In other provinces, we haven't been hearing them making those kind of statements, right? So that has me a little concerned for my brothers and sisters that are gun owners in those provinces.
Yeah, for sure.
Brothers and sisters and other
Daniel Crossland says McKay had his time, and my retort
I
to
agree.
that is, I didn't know Belinda Stronach changed her name to his time.
Oh,
Hey-oh, I went there, and I'm Anyway,
Wow.
apologies
I
to
knew
Wes
it.
Stevens. We ran out of time for you this week, buddy. Sorry, dude. One day we'll get you on. Big shout out to John Johnston and the band Dirt Road Scholars for the kick-ass music. So, not for you live guys, you can't hear it, but listen to the other shows because it'll be on there.
yeah.
so.
If you download the podcast, we'll get more downloads.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, guys. We went too long, so thanks for joining
Yeah.
us, and we'll see you Wednesday.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, viewers.
Thanks for sticking out this long, you beautiful sons of bitches.
Stay
Okay,
that
bye
way.
now. Bye now.